But we had a lot of fun yesterday. We had a lot of fun. But one thing that was mentioned was, okay, where's Randy Rodriguez? You're talking about the pecking order in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And I just thought, boy, there's some opportunities for Randy Rodriguez. What do you know? Giants take the lead 7-6, and Bob Melvin says, hey, Randy, are you ready for your moment? Are you ready to be a big league pitcher? Are you ready to be put in a big spot? He aced the test. He aced the test. And he had a lot of help from Matt Chapman in that inning.
Well, the play that Chapman made, going to his left, spinning, pivoting, stepping and throwing, I don't think people can understand the degree of difficulty on some of these plays. We can talk about the glove and the arm, which are elite, right? His glove, his hands, his arm. I think his footwork is what separates him from some of the other third basemen I've seen. He has unbelievable footwork. His ability to catch, turn, pivot, it's just, he's magical. And right now, anything hitting his direction, coming in, going left, going right, it's an automatic out.
Flip told us, what was that, about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month, where he said he looked into the eyes of Matt Chapman and he saw the pressure that he's putting on himself. He goes, boy, this guy is tight.
Yeah.
He was tight. Trying to endear himself to a new club, new city, because I know he played in Oakland, but he didn't play in San Francisco, but trying to endear himself to Giants fans, and he's got the player option. There's a lot on the line for him, a lot of money on the line.
It really is.
The reputation, who he is as a third baseman, because he got lost in Toronto, and last year was a lost season. The finger injury obviously had something to do with it. I would love to ask him how much did it impact the season, and is he completely over it? Because right now, out of nowhere, and just think about where this team was last Wednesday. Last Wednesday, just lost 10-2 to the Dodgers. And
that's a great point.
I was off work, but I was tapped in. I was like, boy, there's a lot of doom and gloom. And I just thought the timing of Ripper Farha was a little misplaced. But I get why you see your rival and they're miles ahead of you.
Totally.
But what did they do when they got beat 10-2? They bounced back. They salvaged a game in the series behind Logan Webb. They sweep the Rockies. And you start to get rolling here. And you got Matos. And now you got Luciano, and you got Ramos, and you got Wisely, and you got Chapman on fire, and Solaire's starting to find his bat. And you get over the loss of Jung Hoo Lee, and you get over some of the losses here, and you say, you know what, we could play some baseball. Now, the Pirates will see where they end up. They're a young team trying to find their way or whatnot. Bullpen is a mess.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got to apologize for the teams you play. You go out there and just win, and it's about your form. And right now, the form of the Giants, I like where it's at. You're pitching well for the most part. Your bats are coming through in the clutch.
Yeah.
You're hitting for power. Some guys are fighting to find their stroke like Jorge Soler. Obviously, Matt Chapman find it. So it's about how you're playing heading to this big 2 week stretch. I can't emphasize enough. Mets, Phillies, Yankees, Diamondbacks, Rangers. Let's go.
You beat Paul Skeens employing the opener. It's a huge win for you.
Huge.
And I want to talk at 6:30 about Bob Melvin, because he made some moves in this game. Some were great. One I didn't agree with, but I thought it was masterful the way he used his roster yesterday. Ramos hit another home run yesterday, and it kind of sparked the team. And I'm looking at some of these young guys, and they give it and they take away. Obviously, Matos, I thought had a lot of good at-bats.
He almost stole that home run from McCutcheon. Hell of a play.
I know.
Hell of a play.
He had some good at-bats, but I want to get to the Luciano thing, because Luciano goes in for Wilmer Flores, who was a pinch hitter, and now he's going to be a pinch runner. And I loved it. And the way he took a secondary lead on a ball that skips in front of Joey Bart, they just haven't had that kind of speed before. He steals second. He does the exact same thing, steals third, puts himself in a position so that Brett Wisely, having the best game of his career, who started at shortstop, rips one up the middle. Boom, the Giants take the lead. Now, look, in the other half of the inning, in the ninth inning, Luciano made a really bad error on a routine. It's a routine play. You got to make. I'm sorry. It's starting off the inning.
Yeah, that was tough.
You can't.
I thought when I saw that, I said, "Uh-oh."
I know, poor guy.
Here we go.
But here, to his credit, and I want to make this point. Bailey, who didn't start the game, throws the guy out on second base, and I think we've underrated, because you don't win that game without Luciano's legs. He made such a great grab and tag on that throw with the guy barreling down on you. Look, he's going to give, he's going to take away. And he's not a perfect player.
Tag.
He's got a long way to go, but you don't win that game without Luciano's legs. His glove has to improve if he wants to stay at shortstop.
Chi Juan Bay was the guy thrown out there. It was a great throw by Patrick Bailey. Welcome back, Patrick Bailey. But you know what it is, too? When I look at this lineup, we'll get to Mike and Pleasant Hill in just a second.
I'm so pumped.
I'm looking at the top four. Matos, Lamont Wade Jr., Tyro Strada, Matt Chapman.
Okay.
I can't recall the Giants being that athletic in the 1, 2, 3, 4 spots in a very long time. In a very long time.
Good point.
Like, I know you had Angel Pagan.
Yeah.
But who was batting behind him? You know, you had Buster Posey in the middle of the lineup. We know he's slower than molasses, right? As a tandem, as a
good call.
1, 2, 3, 4. Because all I want.
I mean, Pablo was one of their more athletic players.
Exactly.
Like, I'm being dead serious.
No, he was. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I see Matos, Wade Jr., Estrada, Chapman, point. I'm saying to myself, okay, you could go first to third. You can go second to home.
Yeah.
You can make things happen on the base pass and force the defense to be perfect.
Yeah.
You have to make them make perfect relay throws.
Yeah.
Then when you enter Luciano, who has speed and he can pitch run and he can do damage on the base pass, you know what? This is good. This is good. You're now more athletic.
Yeah.
You got a little more speed. And that's what they need moving forward here, to use this ballpark at Oracle Park, to use the yard at PNC Park. So you're a little more athletic, you got a little more speed, and the power's coming around. It's a good time to be a Giants fan. I want to hear from Giants fans. 888-957-9570. Let's go to Mike.
Let's go,
in
Mike.
Pleasant Hill. Mike, what's happening?
Mike.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
You guys, I'm super pumped. On my way to work, I'm loving the youth infusion.
Me too.
Of course, give all the credit in the world to Chapman, though, man. He's, like, putting some MVP numbers in here that I don't want him to leave either, Pittsburgh. But you guys, like, I don't wish any injuries to anybody. Slater can be DFA'd. He's the only guy I'd issue with. But Ramos, Luciano, yeah, it was another tough error. I was like, oh, crap, as well. I got a punch in my gut. But Matos, they're starting to play. This, I feel like ever since the youth has jumped in, man, this team has turned it around. But, of course, Chapman is such a great role model, too. His defense, man. You guys, I'm just so psyched. Like, I hate Jung-Hoo Lee. That Jung-Hoo Lee is hurt. I really would have loved to see him this year coming back and see what he could have done. He was hitting the ball so hard, you knew it was not going to find gloves at some point. His defense out there, but you guys, the kids are growing.
The kids are growing. The kids are growing every single day.
I'm so pumped.
No, you should be pumped. This is the most fun I've had watching Giants baseball since 2021. Hands down. It's not even close.
No, that's not. Yeah,
it's not even close.
Not even close.
But like, they're never out of it.
No,
they're competing, and part of having youngsters in the lineup is they don't know any better.
No,
they don't know that 27 outs and we lose. Well, we're just going to go up there and keep playing. Whether it's the 8th inning, the 9th inning, we're never out of it. And when you get that feeling inside of clubhouse, that starts to resonate.
Yes.
It becomes contagious. And now when you head to New York and you head for these big boys, I'm telling you right now, these next 5 series.
I've never seen you this
No.
excited.
These next 5 series, we're going to find out a lot about the 2024 San Francisco Giants. You got big boy teams. I want to see how they match up. Get ready for the Mets. Beat up on the Mets. Then you come back home again. You got the Phillies, Yankees, Diamondbacks, Rangers. It's right there in front of you. What if they go 500? What if they win a couple of these series heading into mid-June? And all of a sudden, you're sitting back at Farhan Zaidi. If you're Farhan Zaidi saying, I can add. What do I need to add? So big tests are coming for the Giants. Let's go to Alex in Atlanta. Alex in Atlanta, what's happening, man? You're on the road.
Oh, Alex.
Hey, guys. Long time no talk. Haven't talked to you for a while.
I see your tweets every day, Alex. Trust me.
Oh, I appreciate it, Bonte. Thank you. Some of them don't look at, but hey,
no, you're fired up.
I'm just going to say this: over the last 7 games, I've been feeling good about where the offense is at right now. They've been scoring a lot more. They've been hitting the ball a lot better, and especially over these last 7 games, they've scored a total of 26 runs in the 7th inning or later. They're averaging 3.7 runs a game in the 7th inning or later. This is a team that couldn't break 3.5 runs a game back in the month of April, and the Bats feel like they've really come alive now that they've inserted some young guys into the lineup. Now that Chapman is hitting better, but hey, look, I know that you play who's in front of you, the Rockies, the Pirates. They're not exactly known for their pitching staff. I'm looking ahead for when the Phillies and the Yankees come to town. Those are 2 of the top 3 teams in the league when it comes to team ERA. The Phillies have a 2.9 team ERA on the road. The Yankees 3.0.
Yeah, they're no
joke. I'm just looking ahead to see, can the Bats stay hot when the Giants play some really good teams?
Absolutely.
But I'm feeling good right now as where the team's at.
Well, it does feel like they have a really nice mix of young guys with veterans. And like they're really incorporated. You got your Solairs. You're going to have your Wilmer Flores is contributing. Your Yastrzemskis, Chapman, obviously. Then you got Estrada. I consider Estrada more of a veteran now because he's been around for a couple of years, but he's still relatively young. You know, Lamont Wade Jr. is a veteran, but the Matos, Ramos, Bailey, and now Luciano in certain situations, and Brett Wisely. I got to get Brett Wisely. That was his best game.
That was a hell of an at bat. 2 for 4.
He played shortstop too.
Yeah, no, shortstop did moving over to center field. Goes 2 for 4. Drives in the game when he run there in the top of the 8th inning. Give credit to Brett Wisely. Thairo Estrada, 28 years old. You know he's good for Matos and Ramos. He's got those guys Soler, and Estrada. Even though Soler's struggling, you can tell they're big brothers to guys like Matos and Ramos.
He's a leader.
Which is what they need right now, especially Luciano. But this clubhouse is vibing right now. But Alex makes a good point. Let's be fired up today. Let's have some fun. But let's also put it in perspective. Okay, it's one thing to beat the Pirates, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, and I'm fired up over this series win. It's how you win. But we will see how good this team is. We will see where these bats are.
I would agree.
Over the next 2 weeks. Alex and Atlanta is right. You play the Phillies and the Yankees, and you didn't win a game in Philadelphia in a 4-game set. You got swept in all 4 games. Now, the Giants were down bad with the injuries and the pitching. I think they're in a better spot. But also, what we were talking about yesterday, it puts a bigger emphasis on Blake Snell.
Yes.
It's time for him to step up. When I'm looking for another joke,
Yes.
because they will need another joke.
Yes.
Fly from New York
Yeah.
to play Philadelphia at 2 o'clock on Monday, they're going to need a joke from somewhere. The young guys have done their job. They may get a little tired. Luciano may get a little tired. This is different for him. Blake Snell, it's time for him to step up moving forward here. It's time for him to step up. Yaz has got to figure it out because he's starting to hit a slump. And you know what? This is the beauty about this team right now. Mike Yastrzemski, who I think he's been up and down. Let's be real. He's been up and down.
He did carry the offense for about a week.
For about a week.
Yes.
For about a week.
You got to give him his credit.
He's played a little good defense.
Yes.
But with that said, with guys coming back, you better start hitting.
I know.
You better start doing something because ain't nobody got their spots sold up.
I mean, I'm looking at Conforto, his elevation coupled with Yastrzemski struggling here. How can Ramos be the odd man out when he's batting almost 300?
I know. I listen, you're right. But this 925 here, Xfinity Mobile text line, he's on it. We're spot on with the Clubhouse 5. If you listen to the replays, I can't recall the last time the Giants dugout has been that juiced. I listened to some of the game on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
And you can hear it. And then you can hear Javi Lopez. He keeps saying it. Look at that Clubhouse. They're having a team photo shoot. The youngsters bring life. They're bringing energy. They're having fun, which is what this team full of veterans, that is a little stiff, a little serious.
Agree.
Now all of a sudden, Matt Chapman is unbuttoning the top button in his jersey. The mustache made. All of a sudden, you're getting a little looser. All of a sudden, you may wear that wristband. All of a sudden, you may pip a home run. When you get youngsters in here, it's not just to play on the field. It's in that clubhouse. Guys are high-fiving, jumping around. That's what we need around here. Loosen up a little bit. Let's just have some fun and play some baseball.
Lubman, if we can, I want to find the audio. After Chapman hits the 3-run homer, he goes into the dugout. You can hear it. You can hear audibly. They're like, yeah. And he's going down the line, and he's like fist pumping everyone. And I'm like, it is a May 23rd game that is supposed to be nondescript, day game. You're getting out of town, and this team felt like they had to have it. And they're down 5 runs multiple days in a row with Skeens on the mound, and they paper cutted him to death.
Jones and Skeens, and that was the biggest thing. Paper cuts. I was listening to FP Santangelo the other day. Paper cuts with a guy like Paul Skeens.
Yes.
You just single him to death, and you figure out a way to stay in the game. Now, they didn't stay in the game because our old friend Joey Bart hit a grand slam.
Good for him. Honest to God, I'm rooting for Joey Bart. I have no ill will toward Joey Bart. Do you?
No, absolutely not. He pipped the hell out of that home run. He surely did.
But he made a couple of defensive gaffes late in that game, which allowed bases, 90 feet to Luciano. Sorry.
All right, here we go. First base.
Don't miss that break, doggy.
Bryce Bach, first baseman, reached 6 times. Guys like Orlando Cepeda on that list. Unbelievable.